Most associations are actually pretty good about paying their ongoing bills. Water, power, management, landscaping, things like that. But most boards fail to realize that even though the roof doesn't send out a deterioration bill every month, that's also a bill that needs to be paid. The cost of deterioration for all the association's common areas are real and large, but thankfully very predictable. So while you can't avoid the cost, at least you can be smart about how you'll pay it.
All right, so let's turn on to the next portion of the program. What does your association in particular have to do with, and where does it fit into this situation? Well, every association I work with feels like their budget is tight, and that's rightfully so. The board has the power to set the budget. In most cases, sometimes it actually requires a homeowner vote of approval, and that sucks money out of the pockets of every owner. It's an obligation. And so the board members are rightfully cautious about moving too aggressively in this manner, and also because it's going to take money out of their pockets. So traditionally, boards keep budgets very lean, but bills are bills. They need to get paid. If the association is using a service or taking availability of someone else's time, they have an obligation to pay for that. If you don't pay the power bill, it doesn't go away. It just stays there waiting to get paid the next month. Doesn't go away if ignored. So bills need to be paid. They don't disappear if you close your eyes. Generally, boards are pretty good at paying the monthly bills. They arrive on a regular basis for the things the association consumes, whether that's electricity, water, janitorial services, landscaping, management, whatever it is. Every month, those bills arrive and they need to get paid. And boards get plenty of practice paying these bills 12 times a year. And worst comes to worst, if you forget to pay a bill, if you miss the electric bill, it's actually kind of no big deal. You just are reminded the next month when they say, hey, you missed the February bill, it's still there, and so your bill is about twice as much as it usually is. But again, no big deal because the funds are there, and you say, oh, gee, whoops, sorry, forgot about that. Here you go. And you're paid in full. So when you have the cash, you can get things done, and you're not subject to the problems of just minor human behavior. But what about reserves? I like this cartoon from the gogladly.com website, making fun about setting aside funds for future projects when homeowners legitimately have a short-term focus. They're talking about, why do I care about things 20, 25, 15, or 8 years in the future? I'm talking about now. What does this reserve budget have to do with me? And the answer is, the truth is that the roof deteriorates every month. It's a static entity. It does not send bills. But that cost of deterioration is as real as any other bill. The board doesn't pay that bill that month. It, like that electricity bill, just builds up and builds up and builds up until a future point in time when someone else ends up paying the cost of that bill. And that's what we call a special assessment. Now, a reserve study is where you find out how big that monthly bill of deterioration actually is. And that could be the roof, that could be the asphalt, the carpet. It's everything that fits as a reserve component. You learn that monthly cost or that annual cost in your reserve study. And if you choose to ignore it, your association begins to look like this association that was ignoring its perimeter ironwork fence, or this association that was ignoring the condition of their pool bathroom, or this association that was ignoring the condition of their tennis court. Deterioration keeps going. It's an unstoppable force. Whether the board confronts it or ignores it, it's still going to occur. And remember, per the governing documents, the board is responsible to provide for the needs of the association. So they have a legal responsibility to address the cost of deterioration. Mother Time and Father Nature are always going to be pounding the association with deterioration, and reserve funding is how a board addresses that challenge. Now, the second cartoon is going to poke fun at an association where the board was ignoring the ongoing cost of deterioration. You see the real estate agent here trying to carefully describe this worn down, beaten down association as rustic and saying, well, they're not wasting the association dues on funding reserves. And you can see the couple that are the prospective buyers, they're not amused, they're not pleased, they're not impressed. You can just imagine what lack of reserve funding does to depress home values. And that's the choice that I want to make sure you understand here. Deterioration is going to occur. The choice is not on the cost side. The choice is on the how do we fund for it? How do we offset that deterioration? That's the choice. And I want to encourage you to start to think that the $50 a month, $100 a month, $200 a month of reserve funding, that's going to be the lever that gives you thousands of dollars in improved home values. That's the big win here. So it's really your choice. You can offset the predictable cost of deterioration and have your 20 or 30 or 40 or 50-year-old association look nice and attractive like this, or not. You're the one who gets to choose, and it's all about reserve funding as far as what's going to be the result at your association.
At Association Reserves, we make the present less stressful and the future more secure. If you want to join us in this mission, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment down below on what you'd like to see us address in a future video. Let's plan for your best future.